Chase Elliott.
Or, as many people know, I'm Chase Racelot.
That's what I just heard. I haven't heard that one in a minute, so it was nice to get,
From Cars 3?
Some Cars appreciation in there, yeah.
I would think that is a completely different fan base. Like, if a kid comes up to you, do they ever introduce you as Chase Racelot?
Yeah.
Like parents?
You would actually be surprised. It happens. Not a lot, but it definitely happens, but you're totally right. Like, it's a total different world, right? People see, kids see me as that, right? That pay attention to the movie, but certainly not your normal, fans at the track.
It's weird. Like, I did a reality show one time. I did Dancing with the Stars, and I won the show, so I was on it for a long time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you. Not the flex yet. The flex is this. Is that
that's a big deal, though.
Yeah, I'm a wonderful athlete, much like yourself. But when really old people come up to me, I know they're about to talk about that show. Like, I can identify, like, if they got a walker and they're like, "Hello, I'd like to say," I'm like, big Dancing with the Stars fan. It's got to be like the kids. If a kid's like, "Oh my God," so yeah, we're tackling them on both ends. Good to see you. Have we met?
I don't know. Maybe we've crossed paths somewhere.
Probably not. Then
I don't know.
I'm pretty generic.
I'm not gonna lie. Me too. So
I mean,
no offense taken at all. I'm really bad about that.
Yeah,
and,
me too.
You learn as time goes. It's good to see you, not nice to meet you, right? So
completely nice to meet you has been eliminated from what I say at all.
Totally not an option.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you find that having it be a helmet sport, maybe you can go out a little more than like a basketball player? Because when you're performing, when you're on the track, you're in a helmet.
Maybe. That's a good point. I would say people definitely identify with my normal weekend attire, right? So, like, if I'm walking around in my driving suit, or like if I'm dressed like this, I have definitely a much better chance of someone recognizing me, I think. But yeah, for the most part, it kind of depends on where you're at. But I do think the helmet aspect of it probably does have some truth behind it. You
do have Napa on even like your normal clothes today. So do all your clothes have some, like, even if you're going to like lay around the house, are you sponsored by somebody to lay around?
It is such a, NASCAR thing, right? We are walking billboards at all times. So yeah, if you're stopping by the house on a random Wednesday, odds are I'm probably, sponsored by something on Wednesday at home watching, a movie. So that's just, I guess, NASCAR issues when it comes to the billboards that we are, but that's part of the deal.
You a big Bulldog fan, big Georgia fan?
Big Georgia fan.
Most of my clothes at home all have Razorbacks on them.
I noticed.
Yeah, so I'm a big Razorback guy. I'm from Arkansas, but most of my hangout clothes have Razorbacks. So I would assume your stuff's either like Napa, or do you have a bunch of Bulldog gear you wear?
I do. Yeah, that is very, very guilty of that as well. I would say it's probably half and half. It's either sponsor related or it's Georgia. I got some Brave stuff in there, and then there's, the occasional generic.
Favorite Braves player ever?
Chipper Jones.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, well,
you're the age. You're the age. I mean, Chipper was like the dude. You go back. I don't know. Is your dad Braves fan?
Not really.
So Dale Murphy, probably the generation up.
Probably so.
Yeah, Dale Murphy. I remember being a kid watching TBS, and like I was really young. But Dale Murphy.
Yep.
Then Chipper Jones. You still follow the Braves now?
I do. I mean, they've been
a tough year.
They've been tough to follow this year, but I'm always a fan, right? So, yeah, I hope they get it turned around, man. They've had a tough go at it. But
do you feel that when Georgia doesn't win a football national championship now, that's a letdown, and that you're very spoiled?
I don't feel that way, but I'm also, I feel like I try to be a fair fan. I mean, I'm not one of those people that, just throw it in your face all the time either. I feel like that, I don't know. I spent enough years of being a Georgia fan in an area that had a lot of Alabama fans, and when they were on their run and just wearing us out, I lived that, and I just don't want to be that person, right? So even when they had their couple years national titles and so on, I don't know. I just don't want to be that person. So I'm a huge fan, love following them. And I'll definitely be pulling for them this year, but I wouldn't say it's a letdown. Like, I hate the coaching culture in sports in general, but definitely in football, I think it's totally unfair to these guys that they, get hired on by these massive schools or, boosters or whoever it is that's paying the bills, right? And they come in and they're just expected to win a national championship in like 3 years. I think that's totally unfair to them. Like, if it was easy, everybody do it. You know what I mean?
I think that Georgia has fans that are much nicer than they have to be. And I've said this for a long time because you guys have been really good now for a substantial period. I think Kirby Smart coming in completely changed the program. Mark Richt was awesome.
He was.
But Kirby Smart flipped the switch, and you guys could be a lot cockier. And I have friends like Kane Brown's a really good friend of mine, and he's a Georgia fan. He could be way more cockier and way more arrogant about it, and he's really not. And so for a team that wins a lot and all the time, Georgia fans pretty cool. Bama fans, we got to talk.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that, but they've had to change their tune a little. But I still think
Saban left, it changed for them.
I still think they're going to be very good, but look, I mean, you're right, and I think we were really lucky as Georgia fans too because it was never like they were just a total joke. Mark Richt, I think, was a great coach, and it was a great culture, and it was just a really easy team to pull for. They weren't winning national championships every year, but they were always really solid. And even those years that they weren't winning at all, they were still winning a lot of games, and it was still a lot of fun to go and be a part of. So, I think we got really lucky on that front. And then, obviously Kirby came in and totally changed the game and changed the game really, I think, for the whole sport, probably from the recruiting side of things. I feel like he kind of has spearheaded a lot of the movement on that side of the fence, but it's been fun to watch.
So I have some really uneducated questions I'd like to ask.
Sure.
How did drivers get their numbers?
That could be a number of different ways. For some people, it could just simply be what your favorite number is, and you might have had the option or the choice to pick.
Does it have to be open? Like you can't have two cars with the same number.
Correct. Yeah, you definitely can't have two cars the same number. The teams own the numbers, basically. So, the drivers work for the teams that field the cars, more or less. So, like in my case, when I came into Racing Cup, and I've been with Hendrick Motorsports throughout my whole career, Jeff Gordon was retiring, right? So I came in the next year. I was filling in, filling the spot, filling the open seat. So the 24 was the car that I stepped into for those first couple years. I had no tie to the 24, to the number 24 or anything, but that was what it was, and nobody asked, and obviously I was fine with anything at that point. Now later on down the road, I had an option, and 9 was my favorite number, and 9 had some family ties too, and made a lot of sense, so I got to switch. So most of the time, I would say it's more whatever team you're driving for. If they already have a number that's fielded or a number that's been around for a while, you typically kind of get assigned that number. It just kind of happened. The stars aligned up really perfect for me to end up with the 9 that I run now. But that's not, I wouldn't say that happens very often, and I was kind of surprised that it even happened in my case.
Are there better numbers? Meaning, are some numbers more expensive for a team to buy than others?
Well, they're not necessarily buying them. And that's probably part of the reason why most of the time they're not going to change, because if a team has rights to a certain number, odds are it's probably not going to make sense for them to go out and get a different one. I wouldn't say it changes. For me, in my case, the 9 was not being used. So
it's just floating out there. It's a free agent. That's a free agent number.
It was kind of a free agent number. It was owned by Petty Enterprises because, Evernham turned into Gillette. George Gillette bought Evernham, and then Gillette turned into Petty Enterprises on down the road. So it kind of got passed down, and it got passed down so far that the 9 was not being used. So it was Casey Kane, and then it was Marcos Ambrose, and I'm not sure where it went after that. And then it kind of just disappeared for one reason or another. I don't exactly know why, but ended up not being used. And when we had some switch up at Hendrick, I think in 2018, was the year. And we were, it was actually Dale Jr. really deserves the credit for the number switch from my perspective, because he's like, hey, if you're going to make this change, and he knew I wanted to do it, but I never really said, he's like, hey, you need to speak up about this right now because you're probably not going to have another opportunity to do it. He knew there was some change coming. And yeah, so I kind of, thanks to his nudging, I reached out to the boss and was like, hey, what do you think about doing this? Or can we do this? Is this even possible? So somebody had a conversation with Richard Petty, and he said, hey, you can have it. We're not using it. Totally yours. You have family ties to this number, and it'd be really cool for you guys to to take it if that's what you want to do. So the king let us have it, and we ran with it, which is really pretty neat the way it all worked out.
Another dumb question, and
that was actually a good question.
A very uneducated question. I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's better than what do you do when you go have to go to the bathroom, which is totally.
Was that the next question? No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't that one.
Okay, mark that one off your list.
My next question is, when it comes to pre-race, I have athlete friends. Some of them like to be pumped up. They like to listen to music and get freaking fired up. I have other athlete friends who like to not be fired up so they can be as calm as possible so they can think as clearly as possible. Where do you fall when a race begins? Do you like to be keyed up, or do you like to be all the way down?
I would say most of the time I like to be more on the downside of just being able to think and be as clear-minded as I can be. I think that's the most productive way for me to go about my job, because the beginning of the race is like, the beginning of the marathon, that there's just so much work to be done. And while there are moments throughout races where you might need to be fired up or need some of that, heightened excitement, it's typically pretty easy to reach in and grab that. But I just don't think you can sustain that for 4 hours. I think that's kind of unrealistic to do, at least in our world. And I think so much of what we do is more, I've compared it a lot to golf, I think, in a lot of ways, because I think it's more of a mind game than it is anything else. And I think just being sharp on that front is probably the best way for success, at least in my view.
I want to talk about visualization for a second. And again, you mentioned golf, and every hole is different, right? Every fairway is different, every green is different, and you walk the course. With a lot of these tracks, the circle's the same. How do you visualize more than just the circle?
Well, they're not all the same at all.
The shape to me is the same when I watch it on television.
Right, and I think that's another great comparison. You talk about fairways, and you might look from overhead shot, and you might have two dogleg lefts that look the exact same from a helicopter view, and you're thinking, oh, these are the same shot. As long as you hit the same shot shape, these should be fine, right? Same for us when we go to different racetracks. While some places might look really similar and might, from a bird's eye view, every place has its own character, and it has its own bumps in the road and cracks in the surface, and some tracks have preferred lanes that are different than others that might totally be shaped the same. So no, even if they might look the same, they're all very different, and it just takes some time, I guess, to kind of recognize that and pick up on it. But they all have their own character for sure.
What if like one pothole was added to each course?
One pothole?
Yeah.
I guess you have a lot of flat tires.
And you really wouldn't know where it was till it started. But then it just stayed there. Because I think of how the Savannah Bananas make everything, like Liv has golf, Savannah Bananas and baseball. What if it's like a Mario Kart version of what you guys do? And all of a sudden there are these power-ups and boom!
I feel like we have enough of the Mario Kart version as it sits. So I am not going to advocate for more, but I'm sure it'd be fun for somebody to watch. But I give them credit. The Savannah Bananas thing is, I've never been to one, but I could see where, like, I'm more of a purist sports fan at my age, right? But I could totally see if you had kids or whatever it may be, that would be a super fun thing to take your family to, for sports fans to get into baseball or kind of have an introduction to that. So maybe there's space out there for it. I don't know. There's actually a guy in Florida that it's called the Freedom Factory, and it's not like totally what you're talking about, Mario Kart status, but they do a lot of really fun. It's not so much about competitive, super serious racing. It's more of like a having fun type playground that
like Travis
is
Pastrana type stuff.
Very similar to Travis Pastrana. So I think there's a space for that. I'm just not sure how you take that to a bigger level, but I'm sure someone's thinking about that, no doubt.
Is your cousin still your spotter?
He is.
So again,
do you know him?
I don't know him. I have a lot of cousins,
Gotcha.
and I've worked, like the people on the show for the most part, we've been together for 20 plus years, right? They were all my friends, and we all kind of came together and grew. We weren't put together. We didn't even have a big show to begin with. But to have somebody that you're close to outside of work and then also work with them, how do you manage that dynamic? Because you depend on him a lot.
Yeah, it's we know each other really well, and he knows me as well as anybody, and I would say likewise on the other end, and we do a good job of just look, I might cuss him up and down during the race or whatever it may be, but it's always really easy to turn that off. I think just because we do have a strong relationship outside the car, and we are family, and we've spent most of our lives around each other. So I might be mad at him, but I don't not like him, and he knows that. So he's family and always will be, and that's easy for me to prioritize regardless of anything else, on the work front.
Do you ever race hurt and not tell anyone you're hurt so they don't take advantage of it? There's not an injury, like an official injury report, like NFL. Like Thursday, they got to give the injury report.
Well, that's not totally true. Like for us, like for instance, I crashed on Saturday night this past weekend. So like one of the things that you go through as soon as you wreck, they take you to the infield care center at whatever racetrack it is. You go through protocol of like concussion testing, and they'll make you go every year and a half. We have to go through and do like a concussion standardized test, basically to set your baseline, so that when you do get in a wreck and you go through to take this concussion test, that you pass it in a similar time and in a similar way that you took the baseline test when you were, healthy.
See, I would cheat on the baseline and make my baseline worse.
People do that.
No, I would do that immediately just in case.
People totally have tried to do that before. I don't.
You shouldn't. No, you shouldn't do it.
That's for your own good, right?
But I would be worse at that. So then when I was worse after my whatever,
the way that they do the testing, I think that you could get away with that before, but the way they do the testing now, I think it would be really hard for you to cheat bad at, and then B, I'm not interested in that, because you're just hurting yourself. Like if you go and
good thing to say.
Right.
That's the exact right thing to say.
Like what happens, you go and you have a bad concussion, and you go race the next weekend, you get another bad wreck. I mean, like you're just, nobody.
It's bad.
It's bad.
I agree.
Right? Like that's just a bad decision.
Amen. Do you ever use smelling salts?
Yeah.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Pretty awesome is right. Different.
Yeah. Like makes me feel like a new person for a minute.
Yeah,
like I want to do this.
I wish it lasted longer.
Yeah,
I wish it lasted longer.
Too.
But yeah,
back to back.
Listen to you guys.
Yeah.
It's it's one of those things where you want it to like, I don't know, you want it to like keep the energy level up, but it's it'll get you going.
Yeah, it gets like that.
When do you take that? Like at what point?
I don't
all
like
day,
on
baby.
a regular basis. Obviously, you do. I don't on a regular basis, but some of our pit crew guys do it, and it's always kind of a running joke. They'll run up to me with these smelling salts, like right before the race, and smell one. But so I've done it, but I'm not a regular user by any means.
Let me ask you about music. Favorite 3 artists of all time?
Of all time?
All time. And then we'll go more current, but all time right now.
In what genre?
Doesn't matter. Wide open.
That's almost too broad. I mean, for me, Eric Church is the GOAT. I would put him at the top of the list, period. Now from there, it's like, okay, you have 2 more spots to fill in any genre. I think that could be...
Do 4 total. It's a Mount Rushmore.
I would have to study this, I think, a little bit. Okay.
If you study during an interview, that's a boring interview.
It is. You're right.
You're not
right.
committed. This is not a contract you have to sign where they
No,
always
I
have to
know.
be your artist.
I know, but I don't want to. I don't want to answer this and then get done and be like, "Dang, I wish I had said somebody else." But whatever. I'll go for it.
You're a gamer. Here, have some smelling salt. You're going to come up quicker.
Yeah, I need to study. Let's see. I would probably put Eric Church up there, no question. I think that I would probably put Tyler Childers in the realm as well.
So you got Kentucky, and now you have Carolina.
Yep, Kentucky and Carolina.
No pressure to put anybody from Georgia in there. I'm just making sure we know where we are regionally. We're marking them off.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep it in the country category just because that we're in Nashville, right? So country category, we'll just go current, like what I like right now. We'll go Muscadine Bloodline.
I think you think you're going to be killed if you give a wrong answer.
you're
you're not.
good.
You're
You're
good.
good,
You're
Chase.
safe.
No, I'm not
Chase,
worried
you
about
are
it.
safe.
I
as
just
could be.
want to.
Okay.
I just want to preface where my head's at.
And if you want to call in later and change it,
Yeah,
you
you're
can.
free.
No,
you just
no.
send in a pigeon.
We'll go Muscadine Bloodline. Love their stuff. Big fans of theirs. I like Megan Maroney right now. I think she's got some good stuff.
We'll accept all four of those answers.
Right now.
All four great picks.
Yeah.
And if you come back in a year and you say, I want to change all four, no penalty.
No, I'm not looking for a penalty or anything else, but I just, I think a Mount Rushmore of music, and you get like, I don't know, I dive in pretty deep on that stuff. So I would.
Who's your favorite non-country artist ever?
I would probably go like something. When I think non-country, my mind goes to like classic rock. Something like the Eagles or something in that area, right?
We had a segment we were doing. It's like if you had on a 7-hour road trip and you could only listen to one artist, who would you pick? And I picked Tom Petty just because it's unlimited greatness.
Yep.
Unlimited greatness.
Yep.
So let me ask you that question then. You're on a 7-hour road trip.
I would go Eric Church. I think he has a plethora of albums and music and totally different choices from album to album. And yeah, I think you're listening to like just a legend that you'll talk about and people will appreciate for years to come. George Strait type, legendary status, down the road that I think you'll be like, dang, I should have appreciated that person more when you had the chance to go watch him live. So I think that that's fair.
Best concert you ever been to?
Red Rocks.
Church at Red Rocks?
Yep.
The recent one?
Both of them.
You went to both?
I went to the one that was, about 10 years ago, and then I did go to the recent one as well.
You know Eric?
Yeah, a little bit. Not super well, but a little bit.
Let me show you where his house is. He lives by me. I'll show you where he lives.
Does he?
Yeah.
I don't need to know. I don't need to
drive
know.
him
where
by.
he lives.
All right. It's all good.
We can
No.
ding dong
Yeah,
ditch.
yeah, we go up.
I take your word. All good.
All right, let's talk about this the last the race at Bristol for a second. What is that track? Like what you say all these tracks have their own characteristics. What's that track about?
Well, Bristol is that place has changed a lot over the years, and the racing has changed a lot there, but it's it is a short track, right? It's only a half mile, so it's a pretty small place. But to me, it's not so much about the track there as it is about the experience. I just think it is such a great place to go watch a race. Like anytime my friends ask me, where should we go, or meet somebody for the first time and get them in a NASCAR and they want to come check it out, I always say the Bristol Night Race. Truthfully, I mean, it's not just because we're here promoting the Bristol Night Race, but honestly, that is the best answer because I just think it really gives people a true appreciation and understanding of what we do, and seeing it up close in a stadium-like environment. It's just not something that we do every week, and it's special. It's special. It's fast. It's tight quarters racing. You have to be very precise. Everything about it is just, to me, what NASCAR what I grew up appreciating about NASCAR racing, and I think it does a great job of exemplifying that today.
September 13th, the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway decides who survives the round of 16. So if you're out, so some people just don't make it. You just go without them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You leave them behind, and you get, and then the top 12 go.
Well,
right?
you don't. They still race the next week.
But they can't. But they can't win, right?
No, they're eliminated from the playoff, system.
I drive by them like this, L on my head.
See ya.
Yeah, you're not even real. We don't even see John
Throw-
Cena them. You can't
Throw
see
them
me.
your old smelling salts.
Yeah,
and say,
exactly.
look,
I've already smelled them.
Yep.
Have the old ones. What'd you think of F1?
The movie?
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen the movie.
I know nothing about F1 at all. I thought they held my hand pretty through it. I liked it. You ever driven one of those cars?
No, never have. Never had. Nobody's ever asked, so I've never done it, and probably never will be asked, which is totally respect that too. But
Why do you say that?
well, it's a totally different path. Number one, not saying that I could or couldn't do it. It's just a different discipline. Truthfully, I'm way too old. Which is crazy, but I'm too old at this point in my life to even think about making a transition of that nature. I mean, those teams are signing kids when they're, probably 10 years old or something, and bringing them up through some sort of a farm system. And if they get developed and think they have a chance, then they get opportunities. But the cars, certainly from being a motorsports fan, I love watching F1. I've really enjoyed watching their racing over the past probably, 6-7 years or something like that. Had seen some great battles between Max and Lewis, and Lewis and Nico Rosberg. That was a great rivalry. If you're just now watching the F1 movie, you're probably
all I know is Lewis. He wears a
but-
Rolex on each wrist. It's the only thing I know about it. I mean, I know who he is. He's super famous and rich. But
that way, great race car driver too. I know he's had a tough year, but some amazing battles. And F1 has been a great product, and they've done a great job marketing it. And it's I've heard the movie's great. I haven't seen it, but I've never been huge on motorsports movies in general. I just always feel I'm very much a purist when it comes to I want things to be represented exactly like it should be. And I just think it's really hard to put what we do as race car drivers and motorsports in general the perfect way in a film. So I always get super picky about that. But everyone says it was done really well, and I should probably go check it out.
my favorite F1 driver, Brad Pitt.
Oh, well, easy choice.
I'm new to the sport.
Yeah.
My favorite though. Yeah, it's great.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
He's probably 1 for 1. I assume he won the race.
Not spoiling it.
Okay.
He might die.
Maybe he does.
Yeah. Okay.
Fair enough.
I got 2 more uneducated questions. Although you said my other one was pretty educated,
It
so
was
I
good.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm curious about what it does to your body, meaning, do you weigh yourself, and this may sound so stupid, pre and post? Because, and do you lose a lot of water during the race, and how do you stay hydrated? I mean, is there like a hamster tube? What happens in there with your body?
Yeah, so you are sweating a lot, no doubt. I mean, you're definitely losing a lot of water weight throughout a race. It's hot. I would say that's the toughest part for us physically is the heat and sustaining that for 3 or 4 hours. But we do have water, drink bags, almost like a Camelback, I guess would be the best way to
Not like a
describe it.
hamster tube, how I described it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, but
What
we
do you lose? What do you lose per race?
I have never personally weighed myself after a race, but I have had friends who have, and it's on a really, really hot weekend, like 5 to 8 pounds, something along those lines. So,
Is there specific food that you eat before a race or race day that you know does your body the best?
yes, I mean, I'm typically really, really boring on just race day food in general, like chicken and rice or some sort of pasta type situation. But it's
If you went to El Chico before a race, would that be bad?
that would be bad.
Okay.
That would be
So
bad.
it really does some work on you while you're in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, drinking hydration is a huge piece of it, but also what you eat too. I mean, you can make bad choices on that side of things too.
Final question. Do you ever just want to turn heel? Because you're very popular. You want he's our favorite. You're in cars. Do you ever just want to turn heel one day and Same sponsor, but show up in like all black and be like, screw everybody. Like a little bit, that'd be fun, right?
Oh, it would definitely
Hollywood Hogan type stuff.
It would definitely be fun for sure. And I think it would just catch a lot of people off guard. Maybe I will. Maybe maybe one day you just show up and
Drive by, flip off Austin Dillon,
just
fly by. Woohoo!
Go to the dark side.
Yeah, that's it. That's the next step.
It's not out of the question.
That's the
It's
next
not out of the
season.
question. You never know. Somebody might be getting the bird this weekend. Now that you got me fired up about it. So
What
we'll
makes
see.
you like a mean driver? What makes someone like someone that, is it because they like bump you?
I wouldn't say, I don't look at somebody and be like, oh man, he's mean. I just think that some guys just choose to race like, I don't know how the best way to describe this other than just they race like assholes. Some of them just do. And
Like people drive.
Yeah, like people drive on the road, like people cutting you off on the highway or, just do dumb stuff, right? That you're like, it's not even that it's just sometimes you're like, why was that necessary? You know what I'm saying? And I think there's just a certain level of racing etiquette and, you either have respect for your competitors or you don't. And sometimes you get shown signs of disrespect and you're like, man, that was just kind of unnecessary. So it's not really like, hey, you're being mean. It's just more like, hey, that, you're not doing either one of us any favors. That was kind of dumb.
Chase Elliott, I really appreciate the time. My final question is,
I know you've any more last questions? You're like
I do final, then I do final, then I do final.
Okay.
It's the final.
So this is it.
Do you still get excited when like a box of cool like merch comes in, like from like like if you get boxes of shoes and stuff, you're like, oh cool, let's see what we got this time.
Oh man, for sure. Yeah, like you asked about the Georgia attire.
Yeah.
They sent me some stuff like a couple months ago.
So it's still cool to you when that stuff comes in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm like a kid in a candy store, right? Like just Christmas came in August, and I'm just excited for for the season and love that stuff. So yeah, absolutely. I get fired up for that sort of thing. I don't think you ever grow out of that when when you're a fan of something.
Saturday, September 13th, the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. Central on USA. Chase, good to see you. Appreciate the time and good luck, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.